Okay, we're up to Daf Kuf today's Kuf Hey. We're a little ahead, one daf ahead. The 2, 4, so about 10 lines up. We said that there were 3 kings in 4 Yoitis had no chelik Tolam Haba. So Menashe, Achav, and Yeravam. So Mi Monom, who is the one that who counted them? Who was the one decided that they had no chelik in Tolam Haba? No, they're giving a number. Who made this who gave us this piece of information? So Rav Ashi says, Rav Ashi, Anshe Knesset HaGedolah Monom. It was the Anshe Knesset HaGedolah who counted them. Rav Yudah Marav, Bikshu Oid Limnois Echad, Bikshu Oid Limnois Echad. They wanted to go ahead and make one more person not have a chelik Tolam Haba. Now the Gemara doesn't say who that person is, but if you look at Rashi, your head might spin. Rashi on the left side, because who do they want to count? Oid Echad. Rashi says one word, Shlomo. Now the Gemara tells us in the Nvav in Shabbos that Kol Mishama that Shlomo Chota Eino Elatoa is making a mistake, but because he's accused of Avodah Zarah because he allowed his wives to do it. But it seems it was an awful thing, a Chil Hashem, I guess, whatever went on there. But it's a very shver Gemara, really. Again, the Gemara does not divulge his name, but as we see from the conversation, it's definitely about him. Some of you, the Marav, Bikshu Oid Lim Neisachad. But the Mustik Yoini Shal Aviv, Benit.
Because he built a special palace for his wife, and
yeah.
They weren't. They didn't go.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but that doesn't seem to be the why you won't get Olam Haba. The Avodah Zarah seems to be the problem. But the Mustik Yoini Shal Aviv, V'nishtechal Lefneihem. So the Anshe Knesset HaGedolah, they saw an image of his father, of David, spread out in front of them, asking them not to go ahead and do this to Shlomo. They didn't listen to David. A fire came from Shemayim and started licking up the fire, licked up their chairs. They still didn't listen. Yatsa Baskal v'Amar lahem Chazisa ish mahir. Do you see a man at work? He'll stand before kings. He won't stand before chashuchim. Chashuchim are the lashon of choshech, meaning people who are in Gehenim, who are being darkened. So misha higdim beisay lebeisay. What does it mean? The person who was magdim beisi lebeisay, the person who built my house before he built his house. Shlomo built the Beis Hamikdash before he built his own palace. My house, it took him 7 years. In his own house, it took him 13 years. So in other words, it's going to take him a longer time, but he didn't begin. He didn't begin until he finished mine. A person like that, right, should stand before kings. He shouldn't stand before what? People who are chayshech and gehenim. Bottom line is, the Anshe Knesset is still not listen. Now Hashem got down to the bottom line. That's the Baskal Mama. Hameimach Yishalma, right? Is it from you? Yishalma Kima Asta Ki Ata Tivrach Vayani. Are you the one? It doesn't say it, but it means are you the one Yishalma who pays up the punishment, right? And you what? And that you Maasta, you reject him. Ki Ata Tivcha, you'll choose Vayani and not me. Guess what? I'm the one who chooses, not you. Manam, you are not deciding. I'm the one who's deciding. The bottom line is, Shlomo's there. Darshe Rishumas Hayayim. The ones who are Darshe Rishumas, Rashi says people who darshan Rishumas, they were darshan Psukim. Kulam Ba'Elam Haba. All the people that we said who don't have a chelik in Elam Haba, they all come to Elam Haba. Shenemar, Li Gilad. It's HaKadosh Baruch Hu speaking. To me is Gilad, V'li Menashe. To me is Menashe. Ve'Ephraim. Maya is Reishi. Yehuda mechaykeki, Moav sirachzi, al Edom ashlech naali, alai pleshes hisrayai. What does that mean? Let's go one by one. Li Gilad, who is that? Ze Achav. That's Achav shenafal b'Ramas Gilad. So it alludes to him. He forgot because he fell b'Ramas Gilad. Not that he did tshuva, but his death in Ramas Gilad was mechaper for him. Menashe kimashmo. Menashe. You don't even have to bring a pasuk for it. It says openly, right? Menashe. Beli Menashe. Good, it says it openly. Ephraim Ma'oz Roshi. Ephraim is Ma'oz Roshi. Say Yeravam, who came from Ephraim, again alluded to, not stated outright, right? The Kosim Ephraim. Yehuda Mechaykiki is the Achi Teifel, who was from Yehuda. The Kosim Yehuda. Moyev Sirachzi, and Moyev is my wash basin. Who is that? Say Gechazi. That refers to Gechazi. Shalaka Aliske Rechitza. Again, Gechazi was. We're going to see that Gechazi, when Aram went into the Melech Aram went into the river and he was cured from his teras, and he wanted to give Elisha, and Elisha said, "No, you don't have to give me anything." And Gechazi chased afterwards, and as a result, he lost his Elam Haba. So regarding the Rechitza of Melech Aram, Al Edai Mashlech Nali said Doig Adaimi, right? From Lashon Doig Adaimi from Edaim. Al Pleshus Sisra'i Amru Malchei Asharis L'Mei Hakadosh Baruch Hu Rebbeinu Shalom Im Yavai David Shaharagas HaPlishti. If David will come who killed the Plishti V'Hayrish Es Banecha Gas, and as a result he bequeathed the follow his gas, right? Ma'atai Saloi. He has these enemies. He has Doeg Achitophel. They all after him. And what are you going to say to David? I'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. Unfortunately, speak out, guys, very nicely. The only one that's not alluded to is Menashe. All the other ones are alluded to, correct? Menashe is not alluded to because Menashe did tshuva. According Menashe did tshuva. So since, in other words, Menashe got to Olam Haba on his own schus. He didn't get result of being killed in Ramas Gilad or as I state. Okay. Madua, now the Pesukim now are going to bring in the people who were alive at the time of these kings, who were Rishayim, Gemurim, and the people themselves are much better, as we're going to see. Madua shoiveva ha'am hazeh Yerushalayim meshuvach nitzachas. These people in Yerushalayim, they persist to rebel. In other words, even after the Navi comes to give a Musa, they're still persisting in the rebellion. Amarav, teshuva nitzachas heshivu knesses Yisrael l'Navi. A tshuva nitzachas, usually the lashon nitzachen is to be victorious. In other words, Bnei Yisrael, when they were given Musar by the Navi, they came back with a tshuva that was very, very what? Very appropriate and a winning tshuva. What happened? Comes along Zechariah and says to them, Amalahem Navi, Yisrael chizu b'tshuva, b'chayz b'tshuva. Avaseichem shechatu heichenheim. Where are your ancestors? What? They're dead. So do tshuva. Amalahem. So the Bnei Yisrael said to Zechariah, Uneviechem shlechatu heichenheim. And what about what? The Nevi'im who didn't do Averis? They're also dead. So the death is not a criteria over there. Shenamar Avaseichem Ayeheim. Where are your Avaseichem? By Nevi'im Hal Olam Yichyu. And the Nevi'im, they live forever. So Amalahem. So Zechariah told them that Chazu B'Hodu. The people who are dead, they did tshuva. They're dead, they did tshuva. And you want to know, so what do you gain? You got to do tshuva. Shnemar, ach devarai v'chukei eshet tzivisi esavadai hanaviyim. Shmuel Amar, Shmuel gives example. So that was Zechariah's example of the impudence of the people of Yerushalayim. Now it comes along Shmuel, and he's going to give an example. Shmuel Amar, Bo asar b'nei Adam v'yosh lefanav. 10 people came, they sat before Zechariah. Not Zechariah, Yecheskel. Amar lehem, chizru b'tshuva. Yecheskel told them, do tshuva. Amulai, they said to Yecheskel, Evet shemachrei rabbi, the isha sheger shebaila, a never that was sold, a woman that was divorced. Klum yesh lezeh al zeh klum. So l'chayra Kadosh Baruch Hu, we divorced ourselves from him, or we were sold from him, right, to the king of Bavel, and therefore, where's the tshuva? There's no one to come back to. Amaloi Kadosh Baruch Hu l'navi, said Kadosh Baruch Hu to Yecheskel, Lechem alahem, go tell them, Eizeh sefer krisis imchem asher shlachtia. They kind of, I divorced them. Where's the get? Where's the sefer krisis? There's no sefer krisis. By me minoishay Hashem macharti eschem loy. And where's the minoishay, the people who are making a claim for me that you said I sold you off? Heim ba'avoneseichem nimcharti, and you were sold because you are avonos. Upesheichem shulcha imchem. So you go ahead and and your mother was shulchem imchem from you. Now go ahead and do tshuva and you can get back. Behind the Amrei Shlakish. My dichsiv David Avdi Nebuchadnezzar Avdi. What does it mean that Hashem says David my Eved and Nebuchadnezzar my Eved? It's really strange, right? Nebuchadnezzar my Eved. B'Shlema David, we know David was his Eved. So Golim Yidul Fnei Mi Shama V'Hayalam was Golim for the Kadosh Baruch Hu, who created the world. Shashid Yisrael Loima came that Chal Yisrael would say, listen, we were sold Nebuchadnezzar, and therefore we're his subject, not your subject, like Kadosh Baruch Hu. The Fika Kadosh Baruch Hu says, you know what? Ukari Avdai. He went ahead and he called Nebuchadnezzar his Eved. You say you sold Nebuchadnezzar, Nebuchadnezzar Avdi. Eved shekoin nechasim, Eved nechasim me. An Eved that acquires anything, who owns it? So obviously I do. So your time is that we're subjects to what, to Nebuchadnezzar now, we've sold to them, guess what? He's my Eved. And whatever he's kind of is mine. So this again, this thing that they didn't want to listen to Yecheskel is an example of the people of Yerushalayim being what, so obstinate. What you have in mind won't happen. You'll be like the nations, the people, to go ahead and serve Avodah Zarah, wood and stone. As long as I live, says HaKadosh Baruch Hu, with a strong hand, I'll go ahead and I'll get angry and I'll rule over you. So Amar Rav Nachman, call me high risach Rachman Alon v'lifrei kinon. Let HaKadosh Baruch Hu get angry at us. At the bottom line, if that anger is going to lead to us being paida, being redeemed, it's worth it. Another example of the Bnei Yisrael being obstinate. The Yisru la mishpat elokav yarinenu. Okay, what does that mean? Amar Rabbi Rav Chana, Amalehem Navi Yisrael, said Yeshaya, Navi Yeshaya, Chizru b'tshuva, do tshuva. Amalai, they told him, Einon Yechaylim, we're not able to. You know why? Yetzer hara shaylit ba. It's true we have bechira, but the Yetzer hara is shaylit over us. Amalehem Yisru Yitzrechem. Okay, go ahead and overcome your Yetzer hara. Amalai Elokav Yireinenu, because Baruch Hu made the Yetzer hara, right? Let him go ahead and take it away. So you see, this is what is the abstinence of these people. So we discussed the three kings. Now we discuss the four head yotis that have no chelik al haba. Arba yotis Bilam Doyeg Achitoifel Gechazi. Today we're going to discuss what Bilam, guys. We're going to discuss Bilam. We're all familiar with the story that Bilam had the yechalius. He was a navi. He was given as the Omus Olam should not be able to say, had we had a navi, we would be better. He gave them a navi, and he was very powerful navi, and he used his kaiches not for good. He was hired by Balak to go ahead and curse Klal Yisrael. In fact, he benched Klal Yisrael, and we left off. He was killed by Pinchas. Harag leficharev, he was killed by the sword, and he had a very odd relationship with his donkey, which we're about to meet this evening. His relationship with his donkey, it was Mrs. Bilam. She had a very interesting.
No, the first one that's a guy. No one, everyone else is Jews. Why
Yeah.
do you think he has that about?
Of course, we're going to see there's a day that Goyim do have a chelik on Adarabba. They make the diak. They make a diak. Bilam doesn't, but other Goyim do. That's the diak they make. We're going to have a machlokes between Rashi and I forgot who. But Goyim do have a chelik on the Habit. The Rambam brings it down in a few places, like the Rambam Hilchos Tshuva Perek Gimel. Hilchos Tshuva brings it down Perek Yud Aleph off the top of my head in Edis. I just off the top of my head because I looked it up today. So because it's in Edis and it's put down in Malachim at the end that the Chasidu Umas Olam will have a chelik in Olam Haba. We had the Gemara. They'll be our farmers. The Krayim. They'll be as long as they kept the Zayim Mitzvah Neinach Lishma. If they kept the Zayim Mitzvah Neinach Lishma, no, they didn't keep it because it made sense to them. They kept it because Lishma they would have a chelik in Olam Haba. So really, it's a good deal you're making. It really is, but. Again, now obviously it doesn't mean these people. It means these people are reflective of other people as well. Bilam Beloyam, Bilam. Again, the Gemara is dashing everyone's name. Menashe, it's not. Bilam is Beloyam. He didn't have any people. He was a free agent, right? Okay. Davar Acher, Bilam is Shebilaam. He went ahead. He mixed up Klal Yisrael, right? He went ahead after he caused the Baal Pa'ar. Okay. Ben Ba'ar. What does Ben Ba'ar mean? He was the son of Ba'ar. Sheba al Be'ir, that he had relations with his donkey. Ba Ba'al, he came on his animal. Tana, Hu Ba'ar, Hu Kushin Rishasayim, Hu Lavan Arami. Hu Ba'ar, the father of Lavan, the father of Bilam. Hu Kushin Rishasayim is the beginning, but Asniel ben Kenaz fought in the beginning of Shaftim, and Lavan Arami. Mashma are the same people. Now, Lavan would have to live a very, very long period of time, fellas. But if you ever look at the Targum Yonasan ben Uziel on Lavan, it says that he was Bilam. He doesn't say Ben Bar. It says Bilam. Rashi has a girsa Ben Bar. It's the Shloh Hakadosh has a girsa that it just says that it was Bilam. It wasn't Ben Bar. It was him. That he was. Now, what does it mean that he was that the Arizal says mean he had the neshama of that he had the neshama of because he couldn't live such a long period of time. So he had to say a Gilgal of, or the reason why we're bringing these three people is because they all have the connection to Aram Narayan. They all have a connection to Aram Narayan, as stated in the Sefer Megalis Hayom. Hu Ba'ar Hu Kushim Rishayim Hu Lavan Arami. Ba'ar is Shaba al Be'er. He was called Ba'ar because what he was with his donkey. Kushim Rishayim David Shtei Rishuyas B'Yisrael. He caused two Rishuyas. There should be two bad things in Klal Yisrael, right? He caused two bad things that he obviously the thing with the Jews later on, and also he Lavan wanted to kill at the beginning, and also he repressed the Jews, and they'd be made of Asnil ben Kanas. That's the two Rishasayim. Achas me Yaakov, that's by Lavan. Achas me Shayf, and Shayf, as I just stated. Umash Shema, what was his real name? Is Lavan. Arami Shema, his real name is Lavan. His real name is Lavan. Okay, this the Ben Yoda says that again, according to Arizal, that this is that it's more than the shamas of the same neshamas.
Because I heard years ago about this also. My father told me.
Yeah.
With Galilee, that they made the deal. They wouldn't go past for any reason, and that's where he got stopped at the stone with the donkey.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's interesting shot.
Yeah.
Interesting shot.
His name was Lovin.
Baruch said that his father, Olav Shalom Mike, told him that that's why it was Lavan and Bilam are the same person. So when he got stopped by the rock, Bilam, because that's Galei, that was the stone that he said you couldn't pass over it. It's all good, nothing. Galei. Okay. Bilam, who do you see Almadase? So here, Baruch, here's the diak. Bilam doesn't have a chelik in the next world. Ha'achrina, but other goyim would have. Other goyim will have a chelik to the next world. Must need some money. Now, who's the kind of a Mishnah that says that goyim have a connection to the next world? Must need some money. It's Rabbi Yeshua here. It's Rabbi Yeshua, the Tanya. Rabbi Eliezer Omer. Yashuvu Rishayim l'sha'ila. The Rishayim, they will go down to the Sheol. The Sheol means that's it, you're finished. Like the grave, but it's euphemism that you're gone. Kol goyim, all goyim will go down. Shecheche Elokim. They forget HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Yeshuvu Rishayim l'sha'ila, Elu Paisha Yisrael. That refers to the Rishayim of Kal Yisrael. Kol goyim Shecheche Elokim, Elu Paisha Adikichavim. So you see, they don't have a chelik. Like Rabbi Eliezer, the goyim do not have a chelik in the next world. But how about Amal Rabbi Yeshua? V'chinemar v'chol goyim. Does it say all the goyim? Doesn't say that. But loy nemar elo kol goyim shreiche elikim. It's very meduyik. All goyim who are forgetful of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, they don't have a chelik. What about the ones that recognize HaKadosh Baruch Hu? They would have a chelik. Yes, right? But Yeshuva Rishayim l'shola ma'ninu kol goyim shreiche elikim. Read it this way: who are the Rishayim that don't have a chelik in the next world? Those goyim that shreiche elikim. So this diak that you're making that Bilam doesn't have, but others would, is the opinion of Rabbi Yeshua, not Rabbi Eliezer. Guys, machlokes Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yeshua, we always pass like Rabbi Yeshua. Rabbi Eliezer Shamutihi, he was follower of Beis Shammai. The halacha is not like Beis Shammai in this world. In the next world, yes, not in this world. Yafai say Russia, right? But Afai say Russia nasan simin ba'atzmai, and even that Russia made a simon for himself that he won't have a chelik in the next world. Amar, he said, what? Thomas Nafshi Moshe Yesharim. He said, Thomas Nafshi Moshe Yesharim, right? I should die the death of the upright. He wants to die. In Thomas Nafshi Moshe Yesharim, right? That means if he dies a normal death, then he'll have a chelik in the next world. But he didn't die a normal death. He was killed by the sword. Tana te'achrita kamayo. So if I die, Thomas Nafshi Moshe Yesharim te'achrita kamahu, then my end should be like that. But people who come to the next world, Vim lav. If I don't die a natural death, then I should go to my people with the Rishayim Gehenim. There's a very geschmacka Chafetz Chaim ala Torah. Thomas Nafshi Moshe Yesharim, that Bilam wanted to die like a yid. Said the Chavetz Chaim, this kann Kunst zu sterben wie a Yid, it's Kunst to leben wie a Yid. Yeah, it's not a Kunst to die like a Jew, it's a Kunst to live like a Jew. The Chavetz Chaim said that to die like a Jew ain't nothing on me, but the Titus. That was Titus. Uncles and Titus.
I think Uncles though came to the three in the.
No, Bechelmi called. They came up. That the three people came up: Titus, Bilam, and Yeshu. Yeah. Okay.
They said Bilam said, "No, don't get involved with those people." That would be clear. Those people.
You're a racist. Vayelchu ziknei Yemoyav v'ziknei Midyan. So now we're speaking about Bilam. We're going through the parsha. So it comes along the Zikanim of Moav, the Ziknei Bilam. They came to go ahead and they told him with the words of Balak. So Tana, Midyan and Moav lehoyulem shalom yolam. Midyan and Moav, they never had shalom with each other. Nothing. Nothing. They never had shalom. Mashal l'shnei kalavim shaya be'eder. You have two dogs who are watching over a flock of sheep. They were not exactly the best of friends. If one of the wolves came and got one of them, the other guy said, if I don't help him, today the wolf will kill him, and the next day the wolf will kill me. So they both went for Hargo Hazav. So the same thing over here, right? The same thing over here. Midian and Moab hated each other, but they realized that the Jew will take on one of them, would kill them. So what do? What do they have? They got together to go ahead and take care of Klal Yisrael. Hanudami and she, Karkushta, that's a weasel. The Shunra and a cat, who are enemies. Avdu Halula Bitarba de Beish Gada. They both made a wedding feast from the fat of a Gada. Gada is like a duck. But Vayeshvu, sorry, Moav and Bilam. Huh? No, not so fast. Vayeshvu, sorry, I got a message. Vayeshvu, sorry, Moav and Bilam. So the sorry Midyan Lahechel Azul. So Vayeshvu sorry Moav and Bilam. So now, but we had both Bilam and Moav and Midyan, and they were coming together. Now it says only the sorry Moav went with Bilam. The sorry Midyan Hechinat. So what happened to the sorry Midyan? So Kivin the Amalahu Linu Paya Laila Veshivaisi Eschem Davar. Once Bilam said to both the Midyanim and the Moavim, stay the night and I'll let you know what Hashem wants. When the Midyanim said, this is not going to work out. There's no father that hates his son enough to allow this to go through. So once he said that, I got to hear what Hashem says. The Minyanim says this is not going to work out, and they left. Okay. Amrav Nachman, chutzpah afilu klapi shemayim ahani. Chutzpah even helps klapi shemaya. Look at Rashi, left side. Chutzpah afilu klapi shemaya ahani. Zog Rashi, the ahani le mashe hichziv panav loymar l'shluchei bolak. It helped. But he had the chutzpah to go ahead and tell Shluchei Banach, Linei Pai, Shamalei Kodesh Baruch Hu B'tchila Loisei Lech, V'hada Amalach Lech. So initially he told him what? Don't go. And he had the chutzpah a second night. And guess what? In the second night, Hashem said, Lech, go. So what do you see? You see that it helped the chutzpah of Bilam. The chutzpah of Bilam. So Meikar Ksiv Loisei Lech Imahem, L'V'sei Ksiv Kum Lechitam. Amrav Sheishas, Chutzpah malchusa b'leitaga. Chutzpah is like a king without a crown. Dichsiv, v'nochi hayoim rach u'mashuach melech, v'anoshim ha'ela b'nei tzuruya koshem imeni. David's the king. David says, I'm weak. I've been Mashach as the king, and the sons of Tzuruya, they're too strong for me. They're too strong for me. So what do you see from here? The Rashi says, Malchusa b'leitaga, Kloimar, Sharara Gedoyla, tremendous Sharara, a high position. Ve'inachaser elakesa malchus. That it does work, and the only thing you're missing is Kesem Malchus. But you see that David held Bnei Tzuruya, who were not kings, to be stronger than him. Amrav Yechanan, Bilam Chiga B'Raglei Achasaya. Bilam was a hinkadika, he was a cripple in one leg. Shnemar, Vayelech Shefi, he walked when he was limping. Shimshim b'shtei raglav, and Shimshim was in both legs. Shnemar shvifon al David Yaakov Avinu in the bracha to Don says shvichain. He's like a snake ali oirech hanoishech ichveisutz that bites the heel of a horse. Why is he ali oirech like a snake? Bilam suma b'achas meinavaya. Bilam was blind in one eye. Shnemar shtuma oyin. He had an open eye, one eye. Kaisim ba'amasahoya, when he did his magic, he used his aver. Ksiv hacha neifel ugoyim einayim. It says regarding Bilam, he's fallen with uncovered eyes. Ksiv hasam v'haman neifel alamita, and just like Haman falling in the mita was for the purpose of relations. So we see that what will be enough will also refers to that as well. Itmar Mazutra Amar Kaisim ba'amasahoya. He said that he was Kaisim ba'amasay. Ma'aberei Ravina Amar Shebo ala Sinai. He was mamish. He was mizana with his donkey. Like we said, he did. We said the two psukim, and he did what? He did magic. How do we know that? Kara shachav. It says that it doesn't. This is not said by him. It's said by somebody else. Kara shachav. If you look at the Vilna Gaon, there's a pasuk the Gaon by the Aleph. He says, "Ksiv hacha kara shachav nimcha beis." Take out the beis. Tei voice kara v'shachav v'nir beinay narfal. Because that pasuk kara v'shachav was not written by Bilam. So just right with the Neufel. Ksiv hasan bein ragleha kara nafal shachav. So take out nafal. Rashi says, "Ma kriya the hasan the ispein the fila be'ilahi." It's speaking about snus. Af kriya the hacha the ksiv Neufel. It says is be'ilas. Shabbat al bein masay. He was boiled his animal. Read the Gemara. The Yadei Das Elyon. He said that Bilam knew Das Elyon. He knew what the Kadosh Baruch Hu was thinking. He says the Gemara, Hashta Das Behi Masali Haviyada. Das Elyon Haviyada. He didn't know what his animal was thinking. How can you say Kaviyachol? He knows what Hashem was thinking. My Das Behemtoi, the Amalei, that the people from Moab said to Bilam, "My time alay rechaft susya. Why don't you ride a horse? You're riding a donkey. You're such a head honcho. You used to be driving a Cadillac, right? You should be driving a Rolls Royce, not a Chevy, right? Not a Chevy. So why do you say Amalahu Shadailu Birativa? The horse that I usually use, you know what? I put him in the retiva. I put him in the marshes to eat. So he lied. Amalei the donkey said to Bill, "What are you talking about? What do you mean? I'm your asain." Says Latina Ba'almai. No, you're my donkey. That's only for what? For carrying things. Asher Rachavta Olai. That you've ridden on, Mashma. Not a horse, but me. Not a horse, but me. Says Makrai Ba'alma. That I wrote you from time to time. So what did the donkey say? Your whole life you've been riding me as a donkey, no horse. As we spoke at earlier. And his kanti. So you see that what? I've a custom. Because of Hasam, we see loisay kenes. So Loshen, his scanty is kanti, loisay kenes, that David was warmed up by what? By Avishai Hashunamis, and so too his donkey warmed up Bilam. So you see, Bilam did not even know the das of what? Of his donkey. So if you know the das of his donkey, how can you say you know the das of Hashem? So it says, Elamai v'yodi das elyon. What does it mean, yodi das elyon? So he yedei lechavin, Gemara in Brachas, guys. So yedei lechavin oisa shah shakadosh baruch hu kayispa. He knew how to go ahead and figure out exact day, the exact moment, that millisecond, nanosecond, that a Kadosh Baruch Hu get angry. And if that second that a Kadosh Baruch Hu Kaviyachol is angry, if you would curse, it would be chal. For that millisecond, if you would go ahead and do it, it would be chal. That's why the Navi Micha said to Yisrael, Ami Zachana, my Yoyetz Balak Melech Moav. Go ahead and remember what Balak, the king of Moav, he wanted to do. Uma Anoy say Bilam Bar, and what he answered him. Menashitim ara Gilgal, from Shitim to Gilgal, the Mandas Tzidkas Hashem, to realize that the Tzidkas of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. My Laman Das Tzidkas Hashem. What do you mean the favor that Hashem did for us? HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yisrael, the Una Kamet Tzedakah Sasisi Machem. I did many great things to you. However, all times Bilam, I never, that moment of anger that he was looking for, that he should be able to curse, and never occurred. Had I got angry, enough of the lashon of, again, Sanem Shal Yisrael is lashon sagina for Jews. There never would have been anyone left over. And Hainu de Karmelei Bilam lebalak ma'ekav le'kavai kel. I can't curse, so Hashem hasn't cursed. In other words, Hashem isn't angry, then I can't curse. So, I think if you look on the side, it says Umay ezam le'zoam Hashem malamich koloisa yomim le'zoam Hashem. In other words, I can't curse you if Hashem doesn't allow me to curse Hashem. My curse depends upon Hashem's anger. Kel zoyim b'chol yoyim. Hashem gets angry every day. V'kamen zamoy rega, mamash rega. Shenema ki rega ba'apo chayim b'tzonei. Iba Yisema, Lechi mi boy bechaderecha usagar deloscha ba'adecha. Go in your rooms, close your door. Chavi kimat rega ad yavrazam. Hide, Chavi is hide for a little bit until about my anger passes. Amos Rasach, when this Kodesh Baruch Hu get angry, B'tlashoy kamais, the first 3 hours of the day, ki chavra kabalta the Tanagola, when the kabalta of the Tanagola gets white. So the chicken, the rooster has kind of like a crown. It's called the kabalta. I think so. There's something by the neck, but something by the top. I'm not exactly sure which one is what, the kabalta. It's the comb. What's the comb? It's the art school types of the comb. Right, the top. Okay. No, the crop is inside the body. Kol shaita v'shaita nami chevra, that gets angry all the time. It's mashma that the crop, not the crop, the comb, it's white all the time. So what do you mean that you go ahead and figure it out? Because kol shaita v'shaita ispe suryoki simuke. When it's white, but it has streaks of red in it. Hahi shaita, when it is shaita lespe suryoki simuke. And there was that time when it gets angry, it's totally white. It's not red. And then there's a story about Rabbi Meir wanted to curse, and because he had problems with Shavisa, and what's the name gave Musa, Burya gave him Musa. Why do you want to punish them? Go ahead and daven; they should get better, and he did. So here we have the Meister Rabbi Shua ben Levi. Ahu mina Davi b'Shavisa ben Shua ben Levi. Davi commit style. He was not much bothering Shua ben Levi. Yumachad naked Tarnagolda also lebekari. He put a chicken, a rooster. He's tied him up next to his bed, and he was looking at it. Amar kimata hushaita. When the time comes where the rooster's karbalta is white, Elachi, I'm going to go ahead and curse this guy. Kimata hushaita. When the time came, when it came white, nam name Rabbi Shua ben Levi had dozed off. So Amar, Rabbi Shua said, Shmamin alavucha ara. It's not not right for me to go ahead and punish this person. For a person who's a tzaddik, it's not right for him to punish other people. Again, if Hashem wants to do it, let's up to Kodesh Baruch Hu, but you not. Even against a min, he shouldn't go ahead and punish. Tav mishmei de Rebbe Meir, Tana mishmei de Rebbe Meir, b'shosha hachama zerachas, when the sun shines in the morning, and the kings, they go ahead and they place their crowns on their heads. That's why gets angry. So this is another time where that's why when Hashem gets angry. The simon that is getting angry is what? Is the chicken, is the rooster. That you know. Why is he getting angry? It's because of the actions of these kings. It says, Bilam got up in the morning, and he saddled up his donkey. A love for something, it goes ahead and it's mevatel the saneness of gedula. Here you have this choshev person, Bilam Kaviyachol. What's he busy doing? He's going ahead, putting his gedula by the wayside, and his ava to go ahead and curse the Jews took him more, superseded that, and therefore what? He saddled up his own donkey. That's by that. May Abraham. Where do you learn? So, so we see Bilam. So we learn. So Avram v'tel shua may Avraham Avinu. Dechsiv vayashkev v'ma biker, and Sinra v'tel shua shel gedula min Bilam. Shenem avayakim Bilam b'biker v'yachvash esasayna. So I jumped the gun. So either two emotions cause a person to put his own uniqueness by the wayside. It's either Av or Sinna. By Avram Avinu to go ahead and do the Ratzon of Hashem by the Akedah, the Ava for Hashem, Avram himself saddle up the donkey. Hashem came Bilam with Sinna, he himself did it. Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Rav. Lo'ilam yasik adam b'torah mitzvah afilu shaloi l'shma. Shemitar shaloi l'shma ba'al l'shma. You see that a person does something shaloi l'shma will happen. Where do you see it from? We see it from Balak. Shebeschar aboyim b'shtayim karbonis shehikriv Balak. Balak went ahead and he brought three times karbonis. 14, and 14 is 42. 42, right? So, yeah. So Shebeschar aboyim b'shtayim karbonis shehikriv Balak. The 40 that he offered, Zachav Yatzim in a Rus. He was Zachav, that Rus came from him, right? Rabbi Yosef Rus was the subject. Rus Bita Shaleg Melech Ben Benoy Shal Balach Melech Moyav. Rus was the daughter of Eglain, the son of of Balak. So Balak had a son, Eglon. Eglon was a fat king who met his demise by the hands of our favorite lefty, Ehud ben Gera, and he had a now it wasn't Mamish's daughter. It was a descendant. So it's a beautiful Margalit Sayam. It says mishum shtei predos sheyotzim mimenu, two predos that came out of them, Rus from Moab and Naamah from Ammon, the Lashon that predos they flew the coop. Predos yotzim mimenu. In other words, they had nothing whatsoever to do with them. I kept them alive for these two people, but not that they had anything whatsoever to do with them. Okay, so this person, Eglon, we had another place that since he gave Kavatai Kodesh Baruch Hu by standing up, when Ehud told me as Devar Hashem, he was like that he had a descendant who sat on Hashem's throne. That was Shlomo, of course. Okay. Amle Rava LeRabba Bar Mari. Said Rava to Rabba Bar Mari, Ksiv Yetev Elikim Eshem Shlomo Mishmecha V'Gadol Es Kisei Mikisecha. Kodesh Baruch Hu tells David that Shlomo will be greater than you. His throne will be greater than yours. Why would you tell him that? You tell the father that the son's going to be bigger than him. So Amalei, so Rabbi Memorial said to Rava, "Me'ain karmalei." He didn't mean mamish it'll be greater, but me'ain sort of like his. We don't say that. Tevarach minashim yal eishes chever akeni minashim ba'oil tevarach. In the Shiras Devorah goes ahead and says Yal, the wife of eishes chever akeni. Now she had gone ahead. We met earlier. She had killed Sisera. Sisera was the general of Yavin. He came to the tent. She gave him milk to drink, and she was boiled him 7 times, weakened him. We learned out there that Aveira Lishma is bigger than a mitzvah shaloi Lishma. And you're going to tell me that she should be more gebenched? When Devorah said that, she should be more gebenched than Nashim Boil. Rashi brings that Sar, Rivka, Rachel, and Leah. Nashim Boil, who are they? Sar, Rivka, and Leah. Rashi brings where you see that from the oil. Is it normal to say that the Devorah should say that Yal should be benched bigger than what than the Imahis? Obviously not. She said they should be benched like them. By Shlomo, it says it should be benched like David, but not greater than David. In this opinion that it's not right to go ahead and tell a father that his son is going to be greater than him is argue on Rabbi Yosef ben Chayni. Rabbi Yosef ben Chayni, but kol adam miskane. A person is jealous of other people. If a person's son is greater than him, there's no kinna. Adarabba, this is what we call Yiddish anachas, right? If a Talmud is bigger than a Rebbe, there's no kinna over there. Where do you see that from? Bino Shlomo. We see from this case of Shlomo that Shlomo his throne will be bigger than David's. The Talmido Yibai is saying in 2 places. V'hino pishnayim beruchacha Eloi, that Elisha is going to get double the nevuah of Elihu, who was his master. Moshe Rabbeinu was told to put his hand on Yeshua. What did he do? He put both hands. He didn't put one hand. He put both hands on him. So you see that it's greater, that there's no jealousy of a father to a son, nor a Rebbe to a Talmud. Vayasem devar b'pi Bilam. Hashem put words in the mouth of Bilam. What does that mean? Rabbi Eliezer oimer malach. He was a malach, right? It stopped him from going ahead and cursing and rather benching. Rabbi Eliezer, it was a hook. It was a hook in his mouth that stopped him from cursing Klal Yisrael. Rabbi Yochanan, from the bracha of that Russia, we can ascertain what exactly his color was going to be. You can infer what the color was supposed to be. Like Bike Shleimar, he wanted to say lehem bote knisios bote midrashos. He wanted to say that the Jews should not have a place to daven and a place to learn. What did he say? Matovu alecha Yaakov. Right? How good or what are your tents, Yaakov? Okay, so you see that you infer that he wanted to get rid of that. He wanted that the Shechina should not be shared on the Klal Yisrael, u'mishkanei Secha Yisrael, on the Mishkanei Yisrael, the Lashon Shechina, Mishkanei. They say Malchusan Nimsheches, your Malchus should not go ahead and continue. Kinechol and Nitoyu, they stretched out like streams. You shouldn't have any orchards or vineyards, olive orchards. Kiganois ale nahar, like gardens by a river. They shouldn't have a shmek, right? That's for mitzvahs. Right? It says, well, not Hashem, like aloe, which smells very good. You should have malachim who are of stature. Karazim alei moyim, like cedars by the water. Cedars is a tall tree. Melech ben melech, you should have a continuity. Yizol mayim midolyav, the water should flow from wells. So again, you see that this is what the curse he wanted to have, because you see that the bracha actually that was given. Like say, hey, malchusa shaletis b'umayis, your nation, your malchus should not be shalet, rule of other nations. V'zaroi b'mayim rabim, and his seed should be what? That it should be b'mayim rabim. It's mashma that should be over many waters, meaning many nations. Like the azam malchusa is simply so strong. It says vayorim me agag malkoi, may his king be yorim placed over Agag. Like hey, emas malchusan, the malchus should not have inspire fear. V'tinase malchusai, man, his malchus should be what? Very, very exalted. Okay, Amar Rav Abba bar Kana, Hulam chazru l'klala. All these blessings, kaviyachol of Bilam, eventually came into being in the form of curses, except one. Chutzim bat knisas and bat midrashos. Except that he wanted that to be stopped, I couldn't stop. Koyach HaTorah can never stop. Guys, if the Koyach HaTorah stopped, we'd be destroyed. That it couldn't be chal, that it shouldn't be bat knisas and bat midrashos. That means there was no Torah in Klal Yisrael. They always had to be Torah. Okay? Shenema vayapach Hashem lekim leches hakol lebracha ki ahevcha Hashem lekecha. Hashem, he took the curse of Bilam, he turned it into a bracha, because Hashem loved you. Klala v'loi klalois. The verse says klala, meaning one klala, but not klalois. I will stop over here.